The derivative of a constant is zero. It's one of the first rules you learn in calculus. But what happens if the order of that derivative is imaginary? Geometrically, the line y equals 1 is completely flat. It has no slope and it never changes. Take the second derivative, the third, or the 100th. As long as you are taking whole number derivatives, that constant stays forever trapped at zero. But fractional calculus completely breaks this trap. If we let the derivative order be a fraction, like 1/2, the math suddenly wakes up. It's no longer zero. So, what if we push that order completely off the real number line? What is the ith derivative of 1? Surprisingly, it isn't zero. That flat, boring constant transforms into a rotating complex phase. Welcome to the strange, impossible world of complex order calculus. Let's see how this actually works. We saw that the imaginary order derivative of 1 yields a strange, non-zero result. But how do we actually compute this? Where does the underlying rule come from? It starts with the Riemann-Liouville fractional integral. If we apply this definition to the power function, t to the k, the integral evaluates perfectly using the beta function, generating a ratio of gamma functions. When we differentiate instead of integrate, the alpha in the denominator flips its sign. This gives us the Riemann-Liouville power rule. The alpha derivative of x to the k equals gamma of k plus 1 over gamma of k plus 1 minus alpha times x to the k minus alpha. Our target is the constant 1, which is just x to the power of 0. So, k equals 0. We plug 0 into our rule. The arithmetic inside the gamma functions and the exponent simplifies to gamma of 1 over gamma of 1 minus alpha times x to the negative alpha. To simplify this further, we need a key identity. The gamma function of n is equal to n minus 1 factorial. So, gamma of 1 equals 0 factorial, which is exactly 1. Because gamma of 1 is just 1, the entire numerator collapses. Our equation simplifies cleanly to 1 over gamma of 1 minus alpha multiplied by x to the negative alpha. Now for the leap. We substitute alpha with I, the imaginary unit. Everywhere we had an alpha, we replace it with I, bringing our imaginary order directly into the formula. To finish, we simply combine these terms into a single fraction. And here is our result. The ith derivative of 1 is x to the negative I divided by gamma of 1 minus I. That gamma term in the denominator? It evaluates to a fixed complex constant. But the numerator is where the magic happens. What exactly is x to the negative I? By rewriting it as an exponential, we prepare to use Euler's formula, which will turn this strange term into a beautifully rotating wave. We ended the last section on a massive cliffhanger. What exactly is x to the power of negative I? First, we can rewrite the base x using the natural exponential. X is just e to the natural log of x. Raising a power to a power multiplies the exponents. This new format is the perfect setup for Euler's formula, which connects complex exponentials to trigonometry. By substituting negative natural log of x into the formula and using the even and odd properties of cosine and sine, we get our definitive shape: cosine of log x minus I sine of log x. Our strange imaginary power has split beautifully into two pieces: a real part, driven by cosine, and an imaginary part, driven by negative sine. Let's graph this. If we plot these components against x, we don't get a flat line anymore. We get an oscillation. The real and imaginary parts create a paired wave that gets stretched out horizontally as x grows larger, but notice how the amplitude never decays. Why doesn't it decay? Let's check the modulus. The absolute value of x to the negative I evaluates to e to the 0, which is exactly 1. On the complex plane, this traces a perfect, endless unit circle. So the numerator of our derivative is a pure rotating wave. But to finish the calculation, we still need to decode the denominator. What exactly does gamma of 1 minus I do to this wave? We know our derivative equals x to the negative I divided by gamma of 1 minus I. But what exactly is this mysterious denominator? We can unlock its value using the functional equation and Euler's reflection formula. By substituting the imaginary unit I into the formula and taking the absolute value, the complex algebra simplifies beautifully. We find the modulus of gamma of 1 minus I is exactly the square root of pi over hyperbolic sine of pi, which evaluates to about 0.52. But this is a complex number, which means it also has an angle. Calculating its mathematical argument gives us roughly negative 17.3 degrees. If we plot this on the complex plane, we get a precise vector pointing into the fourth quadrant. So, what happens geometrically when we divide our rotating wave by this constant? In complex arithmetic, division means scaling the magnitudes and subtracting the angles. Our original unit circle gets scaled up by a factor of 1.92 and rotated forward by 17.3 degrees. This leaves us with an elegant, exact polar form. It is an amplified, phase-shifted complex wave. Next, let's visualize this full mathematical machinery in motion, the final picture. We have all the pieces. By combining our amplified magnitude and phase shift with Euler's formula, we can split our imaginary derivative into its exact real and imaginary components. If we plot the real part against x, we see a beautifully bounded cosine wave. Adding the imaginary part gives us the matching negative sine wave. Both oscillate within our scaled amplitude of roughly 1.92. But the true geometry reveals itself on the complex plane. If we track the combined output as x increases, the real and imaginary parts work together to trace a flawless, endlessly repeating circle. It is a truly stunning contrast. We started with the flat, boring constant 1, but by differentiating it exactly I times, we transformed it into a perpetual rotating wave. We've seen how the rules of fractional calculus completely break our everyday intuition, turning the derivative of a simple constant into a beautiful, rotating complex wave. It is a perfect reminder that in mathematics, when you step off the familiar number line, the impossible suddenly becomes real. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit subscribe for more mathematical surprises. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.